Hey, what's good guys? It's Afro Pierre from htcg Champs. Today we're going to kick off a brand new series. It's all about the strategies and tips. There's a lot that you can do in this game, so I just want to give different pointers to players of htcg Champs. So we're going to be going into Cavalry today. Let's go. Alright, so kicking things off. Basically, Cavalry are Afro chibis that you can bring into the game, and there'll be 3 that you've already placed on the sidelines, and they can come in either side of land 4 and your opponent's land 4. So you have a choice of 4 different areas where you can bring these Afro chibis into a game. So these 3 Afro chibis, one is a power 1, the other will be a power 2, and then you'll have a power 3 just to finish up the Cavalry lineup. I'm just going to go through a kind of a pointer of the ones, the Afro chibis that I deem very, very successful through playtesting and worth putting into your Cavalry. Okay, bringing Cavalries into the game. If you roll a 3, you can bring a power 1, a 4 or higher, you can bring a power 2, and a 5 or higher, you can bring a power 3. If you do have both energies and you roll a 6, then you have the opportunity to use both energies to bring all 3 into the game at once. All right, now that you know the little setup of that, I'm going to go into the power 1s that I feel are perfect for your Cavalry. Okay, so Fat Boss. I mentioned before that it's one of my favorite cards. Reason why, its ability is second to none. If you're on the same land zone as your opponent's Afro chibi, you can take an equip card that might be attached to them. Place it into your hand. So, as it says, you can steal an equip card from your opponent. So, I would probably leave them out of the game until I see my opponents equip Summit to someone I don't want it to be equipped with, or just something that I reckon they're trying to protect. But yeah, I would definitely bring this card into the game from my Cavalry, from the rare, just to jump in and steal that card from them, basically. Yeah, good one. Okay, so up next, I think it's kind of obvious with this. Dr. Blue Banner has the ability to bring in the second strongest Afro chibi in the game, which is the bulk. So it's kind of important, if you really want to play with the bulk and get that card into the game, that you keep Blue Banner alive. And the best way to do that is to keep him in Cavalry until you have the bulk in your hand. So yeah, it makes complete sense. Same, in fact, goes for Dinobone. Although the stats are very strong in attack, so a perfect power 1 to have in your lineup, it's also a good option to save Dinobone, to use the ability to bring in, to evolve into Power Bone. There we go. So another one to think about. Okay, so as you see, it's that Frodo. And again, with this engine, that Frodo could be very important into deck building. And to, you know, just the safest way to have him in the game, again, is to have him in Cavalry, because the Cavalry cannot be harmed until you bring them into the game. So having that Frodo set up and ready to bring his engine into the game could bring in, just by using an ability, any fighting card that is a power 1 or 2. Like Kid Sassfro is very strong. If you had him in your hand, you'd use that Frodo's ability and you can get another Afro chibi into the game to either aid in attacks or to help with your power summons. Again, now if you use that Frodo's actual move, it reads, if Loyal Hobbit, Lockbearer, or Legolas are in your hand, you can free play one of them onto the land that Frodo is on. And basically you can use one of these 3 Afro chibis to attack on that Frodo's behalf. As you can see, it's question marks there. So you had one of these in your hand, you can bring one of them on your turn to attack. You get them into the game, and not only that, they remain in the game and they have a chance to actually attack. So having that Frodo in your cavalry is very, very important, or very good tip to have if you want to execute this engine, which is that Frodo's engine. Okay, so finally for the power 1s, it's your legendary power 1, a beast of a beast, and it's Throw Bomb. His attack 250, radius to all, including yours sadly, but again, if you have Throw Bomb in radius, you can literally put him on a mission on his 1s, taking out most of your opponent's side in one swoop. So this is one of the most dangerous power 1 in the game, hands down, and the most kind of, I don't know, just impactful Afro Chibi. Not even that guy could take out potentially 5 Afro Chibis in one casual attack. Although he loses his life when doing it, it's totally worth it. Cool. That's your power 1s. Okay, so up next we're going to go into the power 2 Afro Chibis that I feel should be in your cavalry lineup. Wizard Girl, it's a simple one really, just to use her radius. So having her in cavalry, you could bring her into the game on either side just to take out an opponent from radius, which is, you know, decent. It's a 50, nothing too extravagant, but yeah, it's a decent one to have. Next, Heisenbad. So Heisenbad could be good to use him on those kind of power card focused decks. So I'll just let you have a little read on that. Feel free to press pause. And having him in cavalry again will just minimize the chances of him being defeated or banished away before getting the chance to use this ability at its fullest. So yeah. Okay, so this is one I tend to use very, very often. Mr. Speed is a perfect cavalry card because how fast it can move, it can surprise your opponent, catch him off guard, and you can, depending if they have their power base entrance empty or free because there's no Afro Chibi defending it, then you could use this guy, get him into the game, move straight there, and potentially attack on your next turn, taking out a devastating power card of your opponent's. So very, very sneaky one to have. Okay, nice and quick this one, cat and mouse, just because of its devastating attack. So it can do 60 times, you roll twice. So its chances of executing an offensive play for the cavalry is quite high. So it's a good one to have, quite reliable. And the same goes for Blue Artist. Very, very strong Afro Chibi. Strongest power 2 currently in terms of stats. So having this in your cavalry is a good idea because then you could again attack or even defend with this card pretty well. Get them into the game and it just gives you that extra boost. Okay, so we're going to get into the last of the cavalries, which are your power 3s. This is the choices and kind of just like my advice to bring in from the cavalry. But again, it's entirely your choice. We have Lone Soldier, good one as well. Same purpose for Wizard Girl, but just in a stronger way. So I've done it a few times and it works perfectly, having Lone Soldier come from the wings and attack with a radius move and wiping out some of the weaker Afro Chibis. Yeah, good one to have. Air Grappler Mika, again just for that pure attack, that power and the speed of her attack, meaning it's a 3 or higher, so the odds are in her favor, a lot more than most power 3s. So having Air Grappler Mika to push an assault to your opponent's land 1 is a definite good shout to have. 7, one of the best cards in set 1. Having this as a cavalry could save you and get you out of pickles, mainly for the defensive opportunity, because with 7, bringing her into the game at the right time, you could move her into a nice defensive position, maybe defending your power base entrance and pushing opponents back into trap cards or anything. So having this card is just a really good weapon. And lastly, for your power 3s, we have the Greatest. Again, it goes without saying that attack and HP is a wonderful balance, the strongest power 3. So having this in cavalry is it will definitely be a fearful one for your opponent, you know, going up against the Greatest right here. So there you have it, guys. That is my advice and first set of tips for you, and this one was always focused on the Cavalry, trying to get these Afro Chibis in from the rare. So remember, you can have one of each, so 1 power 1, 1 power 2, and 1 power 3. These are just my recommendations. It's entirely going to be your choice when you're playing this game, but feel free to use this as a guide or an assist in some way. If you do like the series, please give me a like. Maybe drop a subscription if you haven't already. And yeah, you can purchase Afro Chibi Champ Set 1. It's officially out, so please feel free, support the channel, support the charities that this will be working towards. And yeah, man, feel free to grab some packs. I've been Afro Pierre, and I'll see you at the next one, guys. Peace!